Hi everyone, Del here, and today I'm going to do a little tutorial showing you how to make these pencil coloured gemstones. I hope you can see that fine there. So here's a blue one I've done in shades of blue. You can see a little crack up the middle and some white highlights. And here's an orange one. So this mandala is coloured with Copic markers, but the gemstone in the middle is using pencils. If I turn that around there, you can see again it's got a crack up the middle and some highlights around the edge. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is what we'll need. Coloured pencils. You'll need pencils that'll blend well. I'm using Faber-Castell Polychromos and some Cretacolor Carmina, and this one I'm going to do in shades of green. So you need pencil colours ranging from light to dark in the shade you want to do your gemstone. So I'm doing a green, so I've got a light green and some dark greens. And I have a yellow, just for some colour variation, a little bit of greeny blue, and brown. This will be for the shadows, for the darkest areas. I also have a very fine paintbrush and some drawing ink in white. This ink I usually use for my technical pen, but now I'm going to use it with a paintbrush to add highlights. I've got a white pencil. This is a Lyra Super Furby white pencil. You can use any blender pencil, it's just for smoothing out the colours. A smudge stick. This is just compressed paper. This size is a number 2, it doesn't really matter which size. If you don't have one, you can get some scrap paper and roll it up into a tight sausage and just taper the end and use that. And I've also got 2 fine liners. This one, they're both Sakura Micron, a 0.1, and this one is in sepia, just dark brown, and a 0.005 in black. So 2 very thin fine liners. Don't worry if you don't have the exact ones, you can use a normal fine liner in black. It's just to make the little cracks on the stone. So to start with, I'm going to draw a circle. It doesn't need to be exact, and you can do any shape. So there's a rough circle. That's going to be our gemstone. So you start with the light area. I'm just going to put some white down. Oops, there's some blue left over on my pencil there. Let me clean that. So then I'm going to go to my light green. So what we're going to do is build up light in this area, going to dark towards the outside of the circle. So with some light pressure, I'm just going to colour the light green in there. Now I'm not using too much pressure. We're going to go to a darker green and move out a little bit. And then the darker green again. I'm sorry for the noise outside. The lorry just pulled into the street. And then the darkest green. And this one I'm just going to go all the way around the outside. So your shading is going to be thicker on this side and thinner on this side. And then I'm going to take the brown, just for the darkest areas. I'm going to, sorry, the van's just pulling out. Okay, I'm going to work in some yellow, just around the highlight areas there. And some of this blue-green, put in the shadowy areas. So what I've done now is built up a very rough colour gradation from light green to dark green. And it doesn't look very smooth right now. What I then do is pick the lightest green and just go over the whole thing with heavier pressure. And this will help work the colours in. and then the darker green. And one darker again. So now my pressure is quite heavy to get nice solid blocks of colour. And then the darkest green around the outside. And now I'm going to take my white pencil again and just go over the whole thing. This will blend the colours together really smoothly. If you don't have a white pencil, or if your white pencil isn't up to the task, you can use your smudge stick and just go around and around. So we've got quite a nice green gradient there, but it doesn't look very special right now. So now we're going to move to the thicker brown, my 01 Sakura Micron sepia fine liner, and I'm just going to do one cracked line there and one across here. So I find using the sepia one rather than the black one makes it look a bit more natural. Then I'm going to get the smudge stick and just brush along the crack in the direction of the crack, just to soften the edges and make it look like the crack is inside. And then I'm going to take the thinner pen and just do some little hairlines coming off. And the same thing, just smudge over them. The ink should stay wet a while because it's on top of the pencil colour. Make it easier to smudge. And now we're going to do the highlights. So I've got my white ink. I'm just going to put a little bit into my palette. Don't need much at all. Now you need a really fine paintbrush. The thinnest brush on the tip that you can find. Put some white ink on. So now we're going to pretend that the light is coming from this direction, hitting this side of the stone. And because gemstones are usually translucent, there's going to be some light reflected on the bottom here. This is why this area is light. So we're going to do very carefully one line of white there, and continuing the curve along this edge. Just a couple of dots there. And then we're going to put a bit more white on this area. And I'm going to take my smudge stick, just dab that in a little bit. If you have a white gel pen, you can try using that, but it might not like working over the top of the thick pencil. So that's our gemstone, and you can keep refining it. Like this area looks a little light, so I'm going to put some more shadow just in here and make this corner a little bit darker. Try not to use black for your shadows. It's very harsh. Brown and purple are much better colours for shadows. Just smudge that in a little bit. So there's our gemstone. So that's a nice green one. And just showing you again the ones I made earlier. That's the orange one and the blue one. So I hope that was easy enough to follow. Hope you can see okay, and have fun making gemstones. Bye!